No high fives to really be committed. Still, so while we're here, might as well take a look. Collapse and Mira on the Beastmaster and Rubik. They are up against RTZ. And Fly on the Medusa Tactics lane. So honestly, not too bad of a lane for Medusa. This shouldn't be too rough for Artur. He should be able to hold out and farm. Collapse should also be able to play what a wild axis. And I think the one thing for Fly here is that if he does blast off, he has to be cautious about where the Rubik is and whether or not he committed that lift up at level 2. Because once you have lift, again, anything that interrupts Techie's blast off makes the hero feel pretty damn awful. That's the one counter. Just stop him from landing the blast off and suddenly his laning presence is just down to right clicks, which Mira doesn't mind trading with a Fade Bolt. So it evens out that Techie's trading lane and it becomes a farming lane for Collapse and Artur.
Meanwhile, bottom lane, Saberlight able to secure first blood, it seems. Mapochka going down already. Just can't underestimate how much damage you can do with this Soul Assumption. Of course, Yatoro, at that level 1 mark on the Morphling, needs to be pretty cautious himself. So we'll sit back, let Mapochka die, and just wait for the creep wave to push into the tier 1 tower. At least for the early levels, Shopify Rebellion at this bottom lane should have a pretty damn good time.
Yeah, can maintain aggression. There's a positive feedback loop of the lion's damage tying in there, and they also managed to catch out that Rubik, although Fly.
Fly should go down, Collapse eventually will reach. There you go, 1 for 1, but Shopify certainly looking a lot better already during this lane. Laning stage just being so much more aggressive with their heroes. The last game around, one of the big problems they did have was the laning stage was just so rough for them. But it seems like this game around, they've got it on lockdown. They're doing a pretty damn good job.
And they're ensuring that Mapochka's not really having presence down bot. I think that's the bigger issue. Like, the Spirit Breaker plus Morphling doesn't do too much. They do miss the blast off up top. Again, the left back was there on Mira. Not going to get any kill opportunities out. RTZ, he is at half mana pool. Has to be cautious about a couple of wild axes coming out. Could be enough to melt him down and provide a kill opportunity. But so far, so you mentioned Shopify Rebellion finding a lot more in their lanes, even the mid lane for Abed. Again, it's DK up into Quap. You can always just Dragon Tail stun. You can always just look for the CS play to feed fire. A more passive lane. Lart's not going to be able to look for any kill opportunities with all of that regen on hand. Maybe by 6 you can, with the Scream of Pain emphasis and the Sonic Wave. That's when you can start to dish it out to Abed, but again, it's just slower on mid. It's still trying up top.
Yeah, they jumped onto Mira. Fly sadly didn't have a blood grenade to throw out that time around, so could not really keep Mira down long enough. You know, in that mid lane, the one lane we haven't really talked about at all, like Abed and Lal are just going at it. Pretty boring lane here in the mid, but Abed seems to be having a pretty good time, so is Lal. Of course, it is going to be a pretty even matchup between these two, so I suppose not too much to talk about up until maybe the level 6 timing of the Queen of Pain. For now, Abed sitting there pretty safely just hitting some creeps.
Happy to just play that farm game, get that level 6, get a push going. See if the aggression comes out here for Lal. We're not able to get any rotations out, and Poshka not able to really look for any charges out of this lane, as it is a high pressure lane for Yatoro. Yatoro is starting to lag a little bit behind in farm, but it's still having a slightly better time than Artesia, at least overall in CS. We're more than happy kind of playing this pacing right now. Both sides are looking for really support levels to get aggressive. If you do want the Spirit Breaker to start to hit level 4 or 5, even maybe wait for the 6 to truly commit onto the chase. Same thing goes for Shopify Rebellion. You kind of want the finger to be ready at some point.
Poshka being targeted here by Saberlight, but that'll be about it. As RTZ up at top lane, fighting Mirror again, has the hand up, but is very low on HP. Collapse will be able to take out the Deucer. So really not the worst trade here for Team Spirit. Fly still trying for Collapse, does actually land the sticky bomb. Collapse trying his best to juke that one out and turn back on Fly, but will end up going down.
Good openings being found from both sides. A lot of aggression up top. The kill on the Medusa is still the bigger one. And Poshka again, though.
Poshka, very, very low, is going to drop. Yatoro has adaptive, will throw it. Crit, not going down yet, though. Really playing on the edge. Is barely going to survive.
Salves up. Been pretty happy. Again, having a lot of impact in that lane. You like that Saberlight, again, he's having a much better time in the Visage. He's showing off what can get done. when you can constantly dish that damage out. There's just no play here for Miposhka. He goes for a charge, he's going to get Grave Chilled up, loses a lot of movement speed. He can't really just run up and right-click create a
Fly.
ranged heroes either.
Fly's going to go down top lane. Mira will hand the tip back the way of Fly. Meanwhile, mid rotations coming in from Crit. Lal already backing off at the right moment. But not even bothering to try for the Dragon Tail. Just didn't see the real opening as top lane Arteezy. He's been left alone. Miposhka's rotated. Arteezy is down. No support incoming to help out.
That's the kill you want. That's the kill you need. Slow down to do so. You have to buy space for Morphling to have farm parity, or at least, or even a lead if possible. You just apply that pressure, finally leading the lane Miposhka does. As, again, he's really doing nothing bot. They are camping mid here though with Abed and Crit. Trying to get that push going.
Yeah, charge does connect onto the Dragon Knight. Abed, of course, going to be more than tanky enough to get through this. This is Miposhka, now the one in danger, but a nice Sonic Wave from Lyle stopping the blast-off follow-up. Miposhka is still trying to juke through the tree line. Actually makes it out. Instead, they will focus on Lyle, but Lyle will jump back in onto Crit. Lee's finding himself a lion. And the Spirit Breaker, he has made it. Abed's still trying to snipe him with the Breathed Fire, but it's not going to be enough.
Sick jukes out from Miposhka, really good angle in the back line. They don't find a DK kill, but you know what? You don't mind finding Crit right now. You just need everything you can take on the side of Team Spirit, considering this much more even start. They're feeling good about that. Great rotations out from Team Spirit. Collapse up top though.
Does get caught. Fly with a nice blast off initiation. No helping coming for Collapse. He's going to just try and fight back by himself. And she does do a decent job of it because Fly's now being charged. The Collapse does go down. Very, very nice pick up here for Shopify Rebellion. There's Miposhka rushing through. Actually, the Sticky Bomb, though, gonna land.
That's
so Miposhka's having to do this a very slow way. Jumps in, looking for a bash. Not actually gonna go for it. But Mira will get it done. It's now Mira gonna be in trouble. Mira's being chased, and Mira looks like he is set to fall. So I suppose you gave an even bigger kill away now, as Mira could not juke them out. Arteezy to take the kill. Perhaps not worth the charge in.
Definitely not. A little bit of a fiesta up top. More than happy on Archer to find that kill for himself. Good wards to watch here as well from Shopify Rebellion. To see these stacks being built up, they can contest later on. Stacks still being formed up for Collapse, so we'll see if they can contest. It does feel like the triangle stacks and Radiant are a little bit harder to invade down bot though. Saberlight, just a little bit of a chase.
The Grave Chill is going to be enough to get his way out of that one. Still a very even game between these two teams. Slight net worth lead to Shopify Rebellion. Even with the couple of deaths that the Medusa has had, he's still having a pretty damn good time as a net worth. Just top of the net worth board at the moment. In some weird way, it's a similar situation to last game, but not so much. Saberlight? Bottom lane, it looks like they were going to try and go for a charge onto the Visage, but they decide better of it. And now Shopify are around. Yatoro, oh what a charge! Miposhka! I mean, was that even on purpose?
I believe it might have been. I think it was. He was charging onto a different target as well, so he saw the angle out.
Familiar?
Yeah. Familiar.
Worthy tribute.
And timing just lines up, giving Yatoro that space. Still under threat, but not as much. You are seeing Abed start to switch gears here, though.
He's moving his way down bot. I mean, you've got the dragon form available.
Axe observes carnage underway.
Let's spike out. Yatoro, next up, he's got the strength morph going. He should be safe for at least a little bit longer, but the perma stun coming. Not quite enough. Miposhka able to stop Abed from going for the dragon tail.
What it used to be. That
Sure, it never comes out. So Shopify, they are unable to commit to the kill completely, but they can commit to this bottom tier one at least.
And they're playing to their strengths in push, trying to shrink this map as fast as they can to prevent that arms build-up by Yatoro. Should be able to find it, no contest. Miposhka really can't get too much done here on the Spirit Breaker. And we'll just sneak away with it. No counter push coming out from Team Spirit elsewhere. They're still farming up with Collapse. He does have the Dominator up, is rushing into that Overlord timing, and he does have the stacks to fall back to. The one thing you'll need now in Team Spirit, some good defensive wards. Can't allow Yatoro to be chunked up by the Visage. He can't be scouted out by these familiars. It's just a massive risk with how much jump Shopify Rebellion do have on hand. Abed is going for a little bit of a greedier play, trying to scale up in the DK, going for the Midas, which I do think is the more preferable route on the DK. Something like Midas over a Blink Rush, maybe even like a Midas Manta. But Ultra Greed smoke out here though.
Mid lane, Abed will be the target for Mira. We'll get the lift up. Abed comes the roll, charge in as well. There's just no protecting him. They might try to punish Shopify, but there's 3 heroes in the mid, and I don't think they have enough to really turn this fight back around. Spirit now with the siege creep up, they're going to start pushing in through the mid wave. Plenty of units here from Collapse to abuse. This tier 1 mid tower with the tier 1's just gone, there's no protecting it. And now the Nether Strike, Maposhka landing onto the Visage with the charge to boot. It's too much for Sableye to deal with.
Much too much. Not respecting that chain control coming out here from Team Spirit with a stolen red spike as well from Mira. And the equalized map control, arguably still a little bit better coming out for Team Spirit with the mid as they are invading the top jungle. A lot easier. You can start to apply that pressure. Arteezy still left alone on the Dusa though, and that's all that matters here for Shopify Rebellion. The Manta style timing for Arteezy not too far off. Should have more stats to play with, although it's still susceptible to that burst, but not under major threat yet. Yatoro inching towards the Lincolns into the Ags. Until that Ags is up, your threat on the Dusa isn't as big. You really do need a stat steal to make this Dusa a lot squishier. Not quite to that point yet, but again, this is not a simple game for, sit back and farm and scale for the Goose. It's not a straightforward matchup at all for this hero up against Immortal.
Is under attack. Heaven or hell. Dire's top tower isn't one of them.
Fly. Being chased down by Maposhka. Charge is going to land. Then the strike out from onto Fly, and he's got no chance of escaping. Meanwhile, top lane, Arteezy. Yatoro and Collapse end up taking down the Dusa. Arteezy going down a 3rd time this game. And it seems like they're onto the tier 2 top tower now. As bottom lane, a jump is there. They've at least found Lyle, and they should have the quad. So not the worst trade in the world for Shopify Rebellion. Maposhka forgot to press the S button, I think. Does not cancel the charge out, but he's giving another kill away.
Yeah, it's a freebie coming out for Shopify Rebellion now. Managing to get the flank onto Laurel. This is the line without the blink. Once Crit has that, it's a much simpler process than getting that lockdown onto something like the Plop here. Saberlight really starting to pop off with the Solar Crest up. Just camping the lane, applying that pressure. All of Shopify Rebellion looking a lot sharper in this early game, although Laurel is on the hunt, but doesn't really have the follow-through control left for that kill. Your concerns for the side of Team Spirit are still with the fact that, again, you haven't really contested Arteezy as much outside of the laning kills. He's still free farming in that jungle up top. You're not using Hawk Vision to hunt him down. It doesn't feel like you're ready to face square off against that Dusa, which is always a little bit strange when it's still relatively early in the game. You don't have that much stats on Arteezy, but I'm sure they're more worried about the response from Shopify Rebellion. They just want to play the safe game. Shopify Rebellion, for their part, again, really good warding coming out. That's been something that's consistent. They have good wards watching that bot lane entirely. So they know when the support's camping, looking for farm, they can always punish. And they have a rough idea as to where the side of Team Spirit's farming up. Because they don't see the course down bot, so they expect it in the triangle. And perhaps up top, they can just play a little bit safer in those areas. And just not give any openings so far. Much more even back and forth here this time.
The 1k advantage for Spirit is still standing. Toro. The Lincoln Spear up in just a moment. Shopify Rebellion. We've got the blink up on Arbit, so they might be able to make some plays off this. Got that instant initiation now with the Dragon Knight. It is on the courier, that is. And they'll start with the mid-tier 1 tower.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Dragon Form will get that done.
Radiant's middle tower.
Team Spirit, they do
is
glitch and they actually rotate a couple heroes around, so it looks like they are going to slow this down just a little bit, but the jump is there onto Lyle. Earthspike to follow. He's in big trouble. The Quap is barely going to go down. Almost making it out, but not quite. The T1 mid tower, it will melt. Shopify, they'll take that easily. But in the meantime, Roshan has begun. Team Spirit are just casually taking Roshan with Collapse and Yatoro.
Yeah. Not the fastest Roshan in the world, but they are getting a lot of space out, although Shopify rebelling. They know this is happening. Mass TP's up top.
I mean, there was no defense. They know that, oh, Abed, he blinked into the right time, but he does not pick up the Aegis. Yatoro has got it. They might catch Collapse for their trouble. And it seems like Collapse is set to fall, but he might roll before he does go down. In fact, Roll was already committed, never mind. Instead, they'll move in for the fight. Crit is down. Onto Sableye they go, a big Sonic Wave. Arbet getting caught by that Taboo. Arbet still trying to fight, is eventually going to fall. It's 3 down for Shopify. Make it a 4. Fly is gone. Arteezy the only one left trying to Giga Chat it up against 4 heroes. But it is not enough damage for Arteezy. A full team wipe.
Well, team wipe. That's Yatoro without a single point in Morph, Mike. He's just standing there as the Morph.
Yikes.
He doesn't even need to turn into anyone else. He doesn't have the stats build, so why bother? Shopify rebelling. They get a good read onto that Roche. They force the issue, not stealing the Aegis for Abed. I mean, it's a really hard one to time. Faster fingers coming out for Team Spirit. It was a massive risk. They just find that win down mid. They want to ensure that Team Spirit don't have any openings, so they contest it. They bleed out so much. 4K lead coming out from Team Spirit now. The Ags for Yatoro, still 3 parts away, so only about, well, almost 2 parts away, so halfway through. Well, once this Morphling hits Ag's timing, right, and that was him without morphing into Dusa. You know, that's him without stealing stats. What happens after that?
Oh, top lane, Fly.
Pleased.
Gonna end up going down to the techies. Both side lanes being pressured now by Team Spirit.
Dyer's bottom tower is taking many wounds. Dyer's bottom
Shopify
tower
Rebellion now 4K behind, nowhere near out of this game yet, but this is that point where the Medusa does not feel very good against the Morphling because the Ag's timing is coming.
Dyer's
Sure, you're building up a Skadi on Arteezy, but I question how much it's going to matter in a game like this as the charge is out immediately. They want the Dusa. Sableye is around to help out. Arteezy's already lost half his HP, but he's going to go for the Stone Gauge, trying to catch Yatoro. Will not be able to petrify him up yet. The blast off is out, but he got the Strength Morph in time, so the Perma-Stun's incoming. They'll get the Aegis down. That is 1 life, but they've committed everything for this, so Collapse is going to jump in. Arteezy's been caught already. The Medusa is completely out of mana, just trying to walk out of this, but the lift from Mira going to lock him down. You got the Aegis, but you couldn't get your position 1 out. Not the best of trades here for Shopify.
Certainly not. Just all in on trying to stop Yatoro. But not respecting, again, the saves, the stall outs coming out. Team Spirit, the lift backs from Mira. The angles being found for these big sonic waves from Laurel. Catch multiple heroes. Shopify Rebellion. They need a lot more in the tank here before they can start running. The Skadi has to come through from Arteezy just for the stat padding. You need a BKB ready from Abed so you can stand up front much more confidently. Otherwise, the solutions are there from Team Spirit. They are TPing up top. They could try to punish Mira here. They saw him D-ward, but not even going to jump to Rubik. No one there to back Mira up. It's just free to go.
Dyer's bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, I mean, they'll just take their time.
Dyer's bottom tower has fallen. Dyer's bottom tower is taking many wounds.
Spirit, keep all the lanes pushed out. Shopify Rebellion looking for an answer, I think, here in this game number 2.
Dyer's bottom tower is under attack.
Has not been the draft has not been working the way they would have intended, I'm sure. Now on a Crimson Guard to come from Collapse to make matters even worse for Shopify Rebellion. all of that damage you were dealing is just going to be nullified completely, as we are going to see a smoke with a double damage on our bed. We'll head down towards the bottom lane where Mira is hanging about. Scouting out Arteezy on the Medusa. Will now reveal his position. Down towards the south, Lyle may get caught in the co-op. Hex is instantaneous from Crit. They've locked him down long enough, I think, here to take him out, and they have. Nice pick off for Shopify Rebellion, finding the Queen of Pain. Mira's still actually hanging around that pot lane
a free smoke
as well.
Oh,
very nice.
did he drop that smoke, or did Artur drop it from his backpack?
Won't matter. Crit ends up catching the Ruby. Mira should really have no way out. He'll try for a TP, but the blast off is out from Fly. That'll be Mira down.
It's a little bit funny. Maybe he dropped it on his way out to try to bait, but no one bites the bait, so he walks back, picks it up, gets punished this time. Side of Team Spirit, wrapping up the kills. Not the biggest. You could argue losing Laurel is a pretty big deal, but it doesn't feel like the co-op's really what you want to nail with your combination coming out from Shopify Rebellion. It really has to be the morph. Speaking of, Yatoro has the full Ags up going into the BKB. Once the BKB is up, then that chain control from Crit's not going to land in the same way. And you can start stealing the Medusa stats, just become the better Medusa here in the middle. Doesn't quite have the Scotty to really get that into full effect, but you are at the point where, and Morphling is going to be your major concern here on Shopify.
Much like cordwood before Axe's axe,
Top T2 tower now under siege.
He's under attack. Dire's top tower has fallen.
There it goes. Easily being taken out by Team Spirit.
Bottom tower.
Take the outpost while they're at it.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Ags now available on Lal. Even more damage coming in through the Shadow Strike now as Shopify Rebellion. They're going to find an Arcane Rune on Lal to boot, so even better timing now for Team Spirit to try and get a fight going. Crit and Fly going to break the smoke of Yatoro, immediately blinking away. And Poshka actually finds a charge on Arteezy. They've got the big target. Shopify, they're backing off, but the Medusa's been caught. But it seems as though Poshka's actually not going to chase him down. Maybe just trying to find the back of Shopify. Arteezy puts their hands up, waves him a goodbye. The Team Spirit, surprisingly, again, just not willing to try for the Medusa.
Maybe understanding that there's no way Arteezy would be this far forward for the nth time without his team, surely. So they respect the counterplay from Shopify Rebellion. They were right. They're hanging around the area still. But Arteezy's still alone. He's fully alone now, under vision.
Poshka will scout this out. Now the strike's gonna land. Charges there. Locking him down as long as possible. There's your morph from Yatoro now with the Ags up. So they have caught Lal again with the Queen of Pain. That's a big deal. Lal needs a way out. A big blast off from Crit holding him down. Lal is still alive though. He did manage to blink away. Instead, however, Yatoro now being targeted by Poshka with a nice charge, putting an end to it. It's Yatoro. He'll turn around and fight back, doing a great job of it. He's full mana. The Sonic Wave's gonna fly up, and he is gone. Oh, the Mirror will finger him down. Shopify, they need to get the hell out of here. This is not a team fight. Arteezy caught. Earthspike from Crit trying to help, but they are just getting slaughtered. The Medusa's gone. Another loss to team fight for Shopify Rebellion. They try their absolute best here to fight around their minds. The Team Spirit, they will wipe them once again.
That was dicey as well, coming out from Spirit. They jump forward, really good stuns coming out from Shopify. Get this chain control off with Saberlight and the Familiars, just not enough. You know, like, what do you do about this Morphling once he steals 20% of all of your stats for some reason?
Dire's middle tower
it's like
is under
he
attack.
gets so much tankier. He's very hard to contend with, and you don't have instant burst. You know, you have level 1 finger on Crit. He's not even level 12. He's not able to look for a burst play follow-up. I'm sure you have some additional damage, but that's it. The cooldown's long, so your uptime isn't that great. And it's harder and harder to melt down his heroes now coming out from Team Spirit. You have no solution for Yatoro, and that was probably the best circumstance for Shopify as well. Getting the blast off chain stun with the Familiars. into a Morphling with no BKB. Now that the BKB is coming out, I don't know if you'll ever find any opening now, unless Yator is severely misplaced somehow. It doesn't feel like you can handle the big old water one polygon boy.
It doesn't feel like it. All right, now it doesn't. These Team Spirit are still paying respect to Shopify and not going too wild here. Charge out on crit. He will blink away. Hex is out in time. Maposhka actually ends up on the high ground. He'll be able to just charge away later. Spirit. Maybe looking for the next Roshan before they try to go mid lane. We'll see Maposhka again, but unable to catch the man. And hell, Maposhka's gonna have his own halberd up soon, so that makes life even tougher for this Dusa.
Radiant's middle
You don't have any other cores that can carry the game for you. It is all the eggs in the Medusa basket. They'll head down bottom. See if they can try for the tier 2 bottom tower instead. I mean, Arbed is getting to the stage where he's working for the Aghanim Scepter, I guess, so he could turn into that big scaling kind of core. That ancient black dragon.
Bottom tower is
While that's happening, Team Spirit, they are currently just waiting for Roshan. Collapse has scattered this out. His team is making their way over. Shopify, they could try to get through the twin gates, but it seems like it is going to take a bit of time for that to happen. And they may just let Roshan go the way of Team Spirit for free.
It's a risky place to sneak through there. They've got the one stolen Techie Mice, giving them some information here. On Team Spirit, and Roche does fall pretty damn fast. They'll just trade the objective. Tier 2 for Roche. Team Spirit more than happy with that, as they're the ones to get instantly across here.
Arbed will blink away, seeing them incoming. Team Spirit desperate to try and find a straggler here. Might run into crit.
Arbed's still there.
They jump in, they found Arbed. That's an even better target. The mid-dragon knight is going to get bursted down by Yatoro. So have a look around for more. Shopify do basically get everyone else out of there. It's only really like Fly that was left behind on the techies, and he'll creep skip the bottom lane. In Spirit, they might just go high ground now. With the Aegis Cheese up, there's not really much in the way of stopping them.
Just diving deep. Nothing to stop them from getting all of this information out. You've got protection now. Up for Laurel, BKB up and running on the clock. Let's fly out. Heck, they use the ult just to kill the courier off of Arteezy, and that is the Eagle Song going. So you're really not comfy. You're not doing enough damage on the Medusa. Your butterfly is still a long ways off now. It's nowhere near being completed, so the courier being on the cooldown is horrific. Just lacking that extra stats feels painful for the Medusa, as you need every single bit of damage you can get, and you're just not getting enough. Not, especially with Yator around, with the threat of the morph. One more objective go, bot tier 2, mid more than likely coming up next, if not the high ground. And the side of Shopify Rebellion, 15k behind. You're banking on scaling with the Deuce and DK, and again, it just doesn't feel like you're finding that here.
No, you certainly are not yet. Maposhka, at top lane. I could think about a jump on him, but he's just going to walk away. AC now up on Collapse to make matters worse for Shopify. So even more defense from the offlane of Spirit against this Medusa. It's going to start feeling like Arteezy's just doing no damage. Mid tier 2 tower going to go down for free. Team Spirit, they can start moving into the tier 3 tower pretty easily with this Aegis up. Looking for the morph on the Deucer if they can. Blastoff is out. Glimmer Cape is going to take off pretty much all of that damage.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Well, we'll jump in. Fly, being targeted, immediately taken out. The charge from Maposhka will get it done. Tier 3 tower, almost gone.
The dire structures cannot be hurt. If Dire's middle tower was worth a damn,
Victoria onto the mid-racks now. Seems like he'll get away with this one pretty single-handedly. Crit is at least going to jump in for an Earth Spike and maybe a Hex. They just can't commit And Arteezy's just not here. Like, he's farming right now, trying to get towards that butterfly.
Radiant's top tower.
Not interested in defending because he knows he really can't at the moment. Spirit, they'll just move in for more. They're on to Saberlight now. The Visage just gets destroyed.
Just like that.
Tier 3 bottom tower.
Structures are fortified. Super fortified.
Not looking like it'll last too long.
You can't even
Look at that universal type steel, Mike. 3k HP on Yatoro.
Very nice. Arteezy losing half his mana already. Charge through onto Fly. Lau will be protected. Saberlight will be respawning. Does move back in with a buyback. Poshka has been caught by a blast off, but is so tanky. Everyone in Spirit are just so damn tanky. Nobody is dying. Sonic Wave comes out, killing off Fly. He'll buy back immediately as Lau is still just casually jumping in with his BKB up. There's just no fear. They'll use the Stone Gaze on Arteezy, but it literally petrifies nobody. Yatoro is still going. Butterfly now available on Arteezy. Charge out again from a Poshka, cancelled by the Hex of Crit. The Mystic Snake starting up quite a few of them on Shopify. Lal's gonna jump in for the Shadow Strikes again. Arvid's trying his best to do some form of damage. But with the Crimson Guard up, nobody's taking damage.
Nobody is. It's just a little bit of a tickle. Take 2 racks here on side of Team Spirit. They force out a ton of buybacks. Aegis will expire in half a minute, so maybe that opening onto the last set of racks, not quite there. And they will need an MKB to come out in Yatoro to just kind of handle that piece, although he's still queuing up the Daedalus right now. Let's see if he does just kind of want to go all in. It doesn't feel like the impact is there at all for Artur. One still inducer form, and suddenly you're dealing with the Mystic Snakes bouncing around, stunning you up. If they get the Shard out with the Tormentor down the line here, or Yatoro, then when you cast spells on the Morphous spell, it will bounce back. Like, it's an atrocious feeling for Shopify Rebellion to have to play against the Medusa, having Medusa themselves.
Charging the Poshka.
Smoke.
Yeah, he literally just charges in and breaks all their smokes. And they can't even catch him. Ahmed's trying his best to reach for the Dragon Tail. But Poshka just so quick. Hasn't even used Bulldoze yet. There you go. And he'll just charge away.
Oh my goodness.
Now what do you do?
I don't know, if you're Shopify Rebellion, you must feel pretty bad about that one.
Jump in low. Oh, they're gonna find crit. Really quick pick off here onto crit. Buyback is available. Arteezy though, he tried a TP. He gets caught. Half mana gone, full mana about gone now for Arteezy. He's getting taken out.
Oh my god.
Sonic Wave to connect. No buyback available. There goes Saberlight. Fly to be chased down a bird, but they are just falling apart. Shopify Rebellion as they call GG. No, not even a draw for them. They will lose 2-0 to Team Spirit. And props to Spirit John taking nothing away from these boys. They played fantastic here in this series, deserving of a 2-0 victory against Shopify.